Hello viewers, just a quick update on my new playlist, Waste Not. Today I had a very important question asked by Coursiers Training on the topic of citrus fruit. And part of the question was, does this apply to all fruit trees? And the other part of the question was specifically apple leaves. Okay, I did reply to you, mate. I hope it helps. One of the things I'm finding at the moment is some of the stuff I do know through being taught by parents and other stuff like that, and other stuff I've got to look up on the internet. Now, we all know that what we see on the internet or read on the internet is not always true. In the case of apple leaves, on this particular question, I found conflicting information, and I'm finding more and more of this. So while I provide links on what I found on the internet, and finding it in books does cause a problem, particularly with copyright. And some of the books, information in the books you find are very, very old, dating back to times where it was just common medicine, home remedies and things like that. The same with the information, more modern information you may find in recently published books or on the internet by homeopaths or herbal medicine, that the professionals, the ones that have actually done the courses and all that sort of thing. In some cases, certain parts of the plant are toxic, but they can be used for medicinal purposes. Now, I touch lightly on that because I'm by no means an expert. I'm looking more at the nutritional values of certain parts of plants and vegetables and things like that. So, on the question of apple trees, I've been doing a fair bit of research on this topic over the last week or so, because when I was in the US about 4 or 5 years ago in the state of Maine, when we were hiking around, yes, we found a lot of wild apple trees growing around the place. It was late in the fall, and I was more interested in the apples, not the leaves themselves. The thing is that on some trees, fruit trees and things, certain parts are edible, some are not. As I said, I found conflicting information. But also that plants naturally produce some sort of chemical or toxin that are sometimes form what they call cyanide as it goes through the digestive system, particularly in humans. It's a natural self-defense by that plant or tree against predators. Even citrus seeds contain small amounts of a chemical that, if chewed and eaten and swallowed, can produce small amounts of cyanide. As we know, that's a deadly toxin. Sometimes, if it's only a very, very minute amount, it doesn't really affect most humans. That's all I can say on that. And the question of apple tree leaves, yes, one link I found was, yes, it does contain compounds that form cyanide as it's eaten and passed through the digestive systems. And on another link, which was like a homeopath or natural health website, they went into the nutritional values of the apple leaf. There was no mention of possible toxins or being a toxin to humans. The key point on that first link was referred to, yes, they are edible in small amounts. What's a small amount? It also depends on the condition of the leaf or any part of the plant at the time. As leaves dry out, die off, whatever, if they're deciduous or anything, some of these chemicals that form these toxins can become more concentrated. So that's something else to think about. My rule of thumb is, I replied to Courtier's training, and thanks very much for your question. I hope it helps you. Is to please do more research, or even talk to people who have actually eaten some of this stuff, and there's been no ill effects. There's a lot of conflicting information out there. Another one I was looking at recently, we have peach trees growing around here. We have them growing wild. I've got plum tree leaves and all that sort of thing. I found conflicting information on whether the leaves are safe to eat, let alone the flowers. I think on the plum trees the flowers are safe to eat. Peach trees I'm not sure of, so I'm still looking into that. Another point too is that a week or so ago we had some visitors here. Now, from a distance, this looks like a choco. It's a vegetable. You can eat chocos. But in actual fact, it isn't. For one, it's got a milky white sap. As you can see there in camera, it's a skin irritant. And this plant is toxic. It's not by any means a vegetable. What happens to this is that as it ripens, it splits open and releases airborne seeds, much like, I suppose, dandelion seeds. Once they've seeded, it's wind-driven stuff. But to that person who wasn't familiar with chocos, or identifying something that looks like chocos, the sap alone would have been an irritant on the skin. If he ever licked it or put it in his mouth, then there could have been very, very serious consequences. Okay, the seeds in some fruit, let's toss that aside. Apples, citrus seeds, a lot of seeds like peaches, plums, apricots, cherry seeds, okay, have varying degrees of chemicals in there that can form a toxin through the digestive system. Now, many years ago I was told you could eat plum seed kernels. Now, these have one of the highest concentrations in the plant or the tree or the fruit of a chemical that when it passes through the digestive system it causes cyanide. That was 30 years ago. Okay, an old wise remedy, I suppose you could say. I have heard of people eating them. Just what quantities, that's the other question. What quantities are safe to eat with plants, parts of plants, the seeds, that sort of thing, are safe to eat where they don't cause any medical problems or bad side effects. Apple seeds are another one. If you chew an apple seed, yes, it does form a type of cyanide chemical in the digestive system. How many apple seeds are safe to eat? I don't know. It's not something I'm willing to try. The rule of thumb again is, if you're looking up and researching this information, and you will find conflicting information on some of the topics, if you're not sure, rule of thumb is don't eat it. Much the same as eat the weeds, the wild weeds, whatever the stuff. If you're not sure, you can't identify it, you can't find the right information on it, don't eat it. So please, do the research. Do more research if you have to. Talk to people who have actually consumed this stuff as part of their life. Used in home remedies, because there are things like, how much do you use? A little bit, big bit, what's safe for humans? It can vary. Alright viewers, thanks very much. This is just a quick update. I'll see you later.